So there's been a sharp rise in COVID cases in Bocos recently, and so there's a big push to get everybody either vaccinated or get the booster jabs.
In this episode, we had to find somewhere to do our COVID vaccinations, but we also found the most beautiful island.
You and me, we're family. The bond that we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, along for the ride. Ho, hey, I'll stay by your side. Ho.
And we're back in Bocos town. Today we're going to get our booster jabs because I don't think we can get into French Polynesia without them. And there's been quite a sharp rise in cases in Bocos. So, yep, that's what we're up to today. McGregor, I think it's the ugliest boat that's ever been produced.
It's such a cool boat. I think like it's just, it looks so sturdy and solid and like good for the job. Shut up. That's a dog, Gary.
Let's just say that me and Daryl have to agree to disagree on that one. This looks fun.
So Dad,
let's go and find out this is the place.
In Bocos del Toro, the local school was used as the main vaccination area, but it was a really long line.
But no one gets a vaccine in a kind of sports hall in the middle of a jungle.
I hate needles.
Okay. What is the card? Vaccine card.
Oh.
I'd like to get one of their cards actually.
So we've done our bit and came in, and Rowan and Dari have also had their first jab. I mean, I know in a lot of parts of the world it's very political and I don't like it and nobody likes it, but this plain fact is we can't move around unless we have these jabs. So that's the reason we're doing it, is so we can carry on moving around. If we weren't vaccinated, then our journey comes to an end. So it's as simple as that.
How do you feel like about getting your injection?
I'm over the moon.
How do you feel like having your injection in your head?
So we soon discovered that younger children of Ewan's age had to go to the hospital to get their vaccinations.
Okay, so we came to the hospital in Bocas. I like to always check out where the hospitals are anyway, because you never know. But actually we came for the vaccination because they're vaccinating children here, and from the age of 5 up until 11. Ewan's just got his first dose. It's a smaller dose for younger kids, and the reason why we're doing it is because there's lots of kind of barriers put in the way of travel if you're not vaccinated, and it means getting lots of PCR tests and a kind of complicated procedure. So mainly that's why we're doing the vaccination for all the kids. Yeah, also, I mean, yeah, there's different opinions on it. We're not going to get political about it, but yeah, we travel, so it makes life a lot easier. Did it hurt, Ewan?
Yes. It hurt like a lot.
So today we're going into Red Frog Marina. We're going to check it out just for the one night because it isn't the cheapest place in the world. So we thought we'd check it out for a bit of water, do a few things that we can't do on anchor, and check out the beach on the other side. Apparently there's Red Frog Beach, which is pretty good for surfing. But we really need to fill up with fuel as well. So off we go.
Apparently, so going into a place like this, you don't need to rush. Ready on the lines, please. Harry, you can be on roving fender, Dad on the bow, Rowan on stern, yeah?
We're sailing through land. How deep is our boat?
It's 8 meters.
2 meters.
You don't want to go below 3, that's really.
Oh, massive jellyfish. What jellyfish that be?
Incredible, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen a bloom so thick.
We have a jellyfish bloom.
I need to check the intake. Okay, so a brief stop over in Red Frog Marina. It's absolutely covered in jellyfish. There's a big jellyfish bloom at the moment, so a bit worried about overheating.
We needed the booster jab, so we hopped in the daily Panga shuttle to Colin Island.
Okay, so we're going to get the finish off the vaccinations for the kids. We've got to go in the Panga to Bocas Island, and then we've got to get a taxi to the hospital, and then we've got to do the whole thing back at 1 hopefully. Oh, what about the gas as well? We've got to go and get some more gas as well, cooking.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
Doing there, Gary?
Physics.
What are you learning about? This is the main station.
This is the main station for all the Pangas. It's like, it's kind of like London station with all the trains, but it's Pangas instead.
So now the taxi to the hospital. I've worked out the taxi situation here. Basically, everyone gets in. You don't really book it. You just, everyone and anyone just jumps in the taxi at any point really. It's like a kind of bus really. Okay, so we didn't get the injections. There's a taxi, guys, because there wasn't enough kids to open the vial. So we've had to kind of abort the whole mission and try and head back and get the Panga at 1 o'clock. We've got to wait for a taxi and just see if one goes past. That's the kind of the way it works here. You just wait and grab the taxi. But yeah, it's a bit annoying. We didn't get our second vaccinations, but I don't know, I guess we've come back another time. How you doing, kids? Cold. Yeah, this dock is the Basti dock, and the stuff they try and get on these Pangas is unbelievable. Today it looks like it's a full size fridge freezer is going on that Panga to the island.
Then we tried again.
So this morning we got on the Panga. It's quite choppy this morning because there's a lot of wind and swell, so it's quite a bit of a hairy ride. And then we arrived in Bocas del Toro. Yet another try at trying to get our vaccines. Hopefully they'll have opened the vial and they'll be able to vaccinate, well, the second vaccine for the kids. So we managed to get Ewan's done last week. They happened to have some kids that had been there that day and they'd opened a vial up. So now it's, yeah, the older kids. Shouldn't be too difficult, fingers crossed. Where are we off to?
To get the vaccine. It's like the fifth one.
So yeah, getting the vaccines in a different country, it's kind of, everything's always a little bit complicated because you've got to work out, you know, where you can do it, when, how to get there, how to get back. We've already been to the hospital once and they couldn't do it because there wasn't enough people to vaccinate. Then we, instead of getting a taxi like often do, because that's complicated in itself because they don't always have space for 3 people. It's one of these taxis where you just, if there's space you get in, if there's not you don't get a ride, and they just go up and down the island really. So we decided to hire bikes from this really cool guy. He's really laid back about it. He doesn't charge you up front and he doesn't even take a deposit or anything. He trusts you completely, which is really nice. So we hired these bikes. Here we go, cycle to the hospital. Just as quick on the bike really, and a bit healthier and just a bit more fun really.
It's another of Mum's weird and wonderful journeys.
Oh, that's weird. It's crazy that there was all that effort just for like a needle to be held in your arm for a little while.
So we just got our vaccines in Bocas del Toro in Panama. Actually, it was really easy to get the vaccines. They kept the needle in there for quite a long time, but yeah, it was really easy.
I'm not sure Mum found it so easy.
Today we're heading to Cayo Zapatillo, which is on the eastern side of Bocos del Toro, or the islands, or the archipelago of Bocos del Toro. So we've got about a 3-hour sail, or drive as it is, because there is no wind. And we're going to meet up with our friends, our American friends, who kind of went back for Christmas, and now they're moving their way west, and also Evie, our other Canadian friends. So one of the things that you can't really capture on films in this part of the world is the insects. A lot of people worry about mosquitoes, but in Panama it's actually something much smaller and much more irritating, which is the chitras, or like little sandflies. And they're about 1/8 of an inch, and they live by the coast, particularly sort of around the beaches, and they come out about sunrise and sunset. Obviously they're so small you can't actually capture them on film, but you can see the results on Darry's legs, where he's been scratching and scratched those bites off, and then it's scarred over, and they're really bad. The bites are more irritating than a mosquito bite, and they last longer. And because you can't see them, the other sort of local term for them is no-see-ums. There's a lot of coral reefs under the surface of the water in Panama in general, but particularly around San Blas and Bocos del Toro. We've been told not to trust the Navionic charts too much, but so far we've found them fairly accurate. You do have to pay attention to the dotted lines, because there are places where the coral reef is obviously changing shape, or it hasn't been surveyed properly, and there's kind of little dotted lines around certain areas, which I think a lot of people forget, or they don't know about. So these sort of passages have become quite routine now, so everybody kind of just gets into their own thing. So Rowan's cooking some pancakes, Serenka's doing some editing, and Darry's just downloading some footage from the drone. And I'm trying to avoid these pangas, which seem to be cutting across our bows quite a lot. The main form of public transport around here are what's called pangas, which are kind of long boats with very fast motors on the back. And these guys are zipping about all over the place, carrying people from one resort to another, to surfing locations and that. They just on a beeline to get from A to B, and they don't move for anyone. Backbone of the local economy, but at the same time it's a bit of a hazard to cruisers.
Is there a dolphin?
Yeah!
Oh.
It was massive!
Really?
That was so big! It was like wide and big. It just drove down though that way.
It's so lovely here. It reminds us of the San Blas.
Well, I thought when my mum and dad said we're going sailing around the world.
Apparently there's a lot of wildlife around here. Our buddy boat, Evie, Joel off there went, did some snorkeling, saw black-tipped reef shark, octopus, turtles, and a lot of other things as well. So we're really looking forward to getting in the water today and going to do some underwater exploring.
When the weather's good in Bocas del Toro, you can come to the islands of Zapatillo. And this is the second Zapatillo island. We are anchored because it's pure calm kind of waters at the moment, very little wind, and it's perfect time to be here. It's hardly anyone around because it's Sunday, so most of the pangas have taken everyone back. So we've kind of got this island to ourselves. It's also a national park, so we're going to go on a little wander and see what we find.
Hi.
So there isn't really much here apart from a lot of palm trees and a great little path. But it's just, when you look out from the palm trees over to the water and you just see all those different colours, you just can't stop taking photos, really. The blues of the sky and the blues and greens of the water and the greens of inside here, it's all that contrast, it's beautiful. Okay, so now we've got around the other side. It turns out that this is part of the Isla Bastimento National Park. So apart from being a national park, there's also a turtle research centre here as well, and this is apparently, the beaches along here is where the turtles come to nest, but not at this time of year. This is off season, so we won't see any turtles nesting at this time of year. In order to anchor here, we made a donation to the national park, and these are the people that maintain these paths. So this is weird. This is like a tree that has fallen down. So this is the actual fallen down tree. But from it has grown up new trees, and they've just grown straight up. So that it's kind of bizarre. It's actually turned into a kind of root, but I'm sure it wasn't a root. It was a trunk.
What's down there?
That is the end of the path, and it just goes into the mangrove swamp.
Someone's been eating a lot of coconuts.
And we show you a typical day on Paradise. Stay tuned! Ding!
Thanks for watching, and a massive thank you to our patrons for keeping this journey going. If you want to give something back and want to be a part of our patron family, then follow the description in the link below, or put Mothership Adrift Patreon, and that should send you to the right link. You can become a patron from as little as $3, and you can be in contact with us directly. Thank you.
You and me, we're family.
And finally, don't forget to subscribe, and also check out our other channel, which is dedicated to fixing your boat, called Mothership Maintenance.
Hey, you'll always